Hey, it's Annemarie with Speak Confident English. And what is the number one thing that you probably want when you're using English at work? You want to sound smart and professional. So today I've got 10 smart words that you should definitely be using to sound professional, intelligent, and positive at work. And the best part about today's lesson is these are small changes that you can make. Sometimes a very small change can have big results, and that's what we're focused on today. So be sure to stick with me to learn these 10 smart words and find out exactly how you can use them with example sentences. And be sure to watch to the end because word number 10 is maybe the most important one that you need to know on this list. Let's get started right away with number 1, certainly. What are some of the most common words that you hear when someone wants to agree with you or agree to a request? We often say words like okay or no problem, but we use them too much and they're pretty casual. So if we want to sound a little bit more professional and positive, certainly is a great option. For example, if your boss asks for a document by the end of the day, you could say, okay, or certainly. Or a colleague asks you to help with a project, certainly, I can do that. Number 2, the word modify. Let's be honest about something. Most people don't like change. Let's say that you have a project at work, and just before the deadline, you get an email that says, there's some changes in the requirements. How do you feel when you get that email? You're probably not celebrating. You're dreading it. You're frustrated. Most people don't like the word change. A better, smarter word that you could use is modify. It doesn't have the same feeling that the word change can have. For example, at a meeting, a colleague might say that we need to change the way that we're dealing with our customers. And that sounds like you have to change everything, and nobody really wants to do that. It sounds like a lot of work. So instead, it's better to say something like, we should modify the way we deal with customers at work. Modify doesn't sound so scary or overwhelming. It's a fantastic word to use in place of the word change. Smart word number 3 is complication. Similar to the word change, there's another word that no one likes to hear at work, and that is the word problem. There's a problem with the order, we have a customer with a problem, the boss has a problem she wants you to solve. None of us like hearing those statements. The word complication is a great alternative, and it doesn't sound as bad or scary. For example, instead of saying there's a problem with your order, you could say there's a complication with your order, but we're working on it. It sounds much less serious. Number 4 is the word sensational. I'm curious, when you think of a word that native speakers use to be positive and show that something is great, what word do you think of? It might be the word awesome. Native speakers love the word awesome. And it's a fantastic word. I use it a lot. I love it. But I want you to have the ability to be flexible in English. I want you to have vocabulary that you can adapt and use in different situations. And the word sensational is a fantastic, positive word that you can use in place of the word awesome. For example, if I didn't sleep very much last night and I'm feeling super tired at work, and a colleague says, hey, Annemarie, I'm going to go to the coffee shop. Do you want anything? I could say, oh, that would be awesome. Or that would be sensational. Smart word number 5 is elaborate. To elaborate simply means to give more details. And there are many times at work when we need someone to clarify something or give us some extra details. So if you're in a meeting and a coworker says something that isn't really clear, you're not exactly sure what she means, instead of saying, what do you mean? You can say, could you elaborate? It's much more polite and professional. Word number 6 is leverage. The business world loves this word. If you use the word leverage at work, you'll definitely impress some other people. What it means is to get an advantage. So here's a great way we could do that. If we modify our marketing approach, we can get some real leverage over our competitors. We've used 2 words from our list there. I could say if we change our marketing approach, we can get an advantage over our customers. Or I could use these 2 words, modify and leverage, to impress. Word number 7, similar to talking about problems versus complications. We can use ramifications instead of consequences. A bad consequence is when something negative happens as a result of something else. And that word, consequence, can immediately have a negative feeling with it. So, ramification is a great alternative. For example, if your team is talking about how to modify a marketing approach, you definitely need to think about the pros and cons and what are some of the possible ramifications of making that change. We've got just 3 more words on our list of 10 smart words to be using at work, and word number 8 is perplexing. I love this word. I don't know why, but I love the way it sounds, perplexing. You and I know that confusing things happen at work. A customer does something weird, files disappear, someone says they sent you an email, but you never got it. In those moments, you could say, I'm really confused about that situation, or I'm confused how that happened. But a great alternative is perplexing. That's perplexing. That's a perplexing situation. Or similar to saying I'm confused, we could say I'm perplexed. Smart word number 9 is straightforward. Everyone loves things that are easy to do, easy to understand, and straightforward is a great alternative to using the word easy. Instead of saying something like, this project is really easy, you could say, this project is really straightforward. Maybe you're working with a new client and you know that they're going to be wonderful and easy to work with. You could also say, working with this client is going to be really straightforward. And finally, we're at smart word number 10 that you should be using at work, kind of. This word is actually a word that you should avoid, and we're going to replace it with something else. That word is like. Like is used way too much. It has become a filler word, a word that we use when we don't really know what to say. In fact, sometimes I've heard the word like used in the same sentence 2, 3, 4, even 5 times. This is a word that you definitely want to avoid using because it doesn't sound smart or professional. In fact, it can sound uncertain when it's used too much. But the problem is, it's a really great word for some situations, like when you're going to introduce an example. Did you notice I just used it there to introduce what I wanted to say? That is an appropriate way to use this word, but because the word like is used too much, I want to give you an alternative. When you need to introduce information or introduce an example, you could use such as or for instance. Here are a couple of examples. I could say there are a lot of opportunities like this for our clients, or there are a lot of opportunities such as this for our clients. That one little change makes the sentence much more professional. Another example, you need to be really careful with this client. Like, if you go to a meeting, make sure that you're early. Instead of using like, I could say, you need to be really careful with this client. For instance, if you've got a meeting, make sure that you're early. Again, that little change is much smarter and more professional. And now you've got 10 smart words that you can start using at work immediately. And I want you to practice. Choose 1 or 2 of your favorite words from this list and use it in an example sentence. Share it with me in the comments below. It's a great way to immediately get more comfortable with these words so that you can use them at work in your daily conversations. If you found this lesson useful to you, I would love to know. You can give it a thumbs up on YouTube, share it with friends and coworkers, and be sure to subscribe to this channel so you never miss a future Confident English lesson. Plus, I've got a playlist for you on advanced vocabulary in English, including collocations. Collocations are words that native speakers use together naturally, and you should definitely be using them in your English as well. So be sure to check those out. And with that, have a fantastic week. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time for your Confident English lesson.